Hey, and welcome to the studio. For today's video, we are going to talk about how I was able to achieve this stamped design. It comes from the set With All My Heart, which can be found in the Occasions mini catalog from now until April 30th, and I'll show you the actual stamp. It comes with a flourish on either side of the bracket, and I wanted the word and the brackets, but I also wanted to be able to punch it using my large oval punch so that it would layer over my scalloped oval punch. And these flourishes make it too long. You'll notice this is one of those clear block stamp, the clear mount stamp sets, which I am just loving to use. So there are two ways to achieve solving this problem. The first would be to have a Stampin' Right marker in the old olive that you then just use on the parts that you want to ink. Or you can do what I have started here and use your ink pad, but cover the bits that you don't want inked with transparent tape. So let me move this out of the way and show you how I'm doing this. I'm just taking small little bits of transparent tape and I'm covering the pieces, the bits of the stamp that I do not want to have inked when it comes time to stamp. And it just takes, it kind of feels like neurosurgery to a degree, but you just cover up the bits that you don't want to have ink. I'm finding this takes 3 little pieces of tape, just the way I have to lay them down. I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to pick it up and look at it real close so that I can be sure that I'm not going to pick up any ink where I don't want it. And what also I have to be careful of is that I don't cover up something that I do want inked. So these guys are taped down now, and I'm going to grab my old olive ink pad, and this will show you just how long I've been a demonstrator. As soon as I can find the old olive. I didn't put it back where it belongs. There it is. So here's my old olive. Good gracious, huh? This is the style of ink pad that was available when I started as a demonstrator 9 years ago, and I just have been buying the re-inker. I haven't felt the need to replace this, but with the color renovation I will. Okay, so I just inked it up like a normal stamp, and I'll lay it back down so you can see. The trick here is now you just lift off carefully your bits of transparent tape, and be very careful as you do this not to get any ink on your fingers, because there's nothing worse than working on a card only to discover an inky fingerprint because you had ink on you somehow. Okay, so now the next step is just to stamp it. I've got a piece of So Saffron cardstock here. Whoopsie, excuse me. And I stamp it, and there we are. We've gotten the word and the brackets, but no flourishes. And then I'm going to take my large oval punch here, and I'm going to flip my punch upside down so I can see exactly what I'm doing, and punch it out. And there we go. And then it layers beautifully over my chocolate chip scalloped oval. Now let's assemble the rest of the card. So I'm going to lay the sample out here again so you can see it. I'm using old olive cardstock, so I've taken an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet and I've cut it in half to make my card front. And so I've got my 4.25 by 5.5 inch card front. I'm going to lay that aside. But what I want to show you is I've snipped a piece, I think this is about 3 inches by 1 inch, of the Designer Series paper Sweet Pea that can be found in that same Occasions mini catalog. And I'm disappointed because I don't think we'll see Sweet Pea in the big catalog this summer. I'm going to use this one because I like the colors better, because it's got Taken with Teal in it, and that color will not be joining us as we make the color renovation. So I'm bumming about that. So I'm going to spend the next few weeks and videos and whatnot celebrating this Sweet Pea Designer Series paper because I love it. Okay, so I've got my piece of Designer Series paper that I'm going to use, and then you notice that right here I've got a scalloped edge of the chocolate chip. I'm in the middle of doing that now, so I'm going to finish this up for you. I like to flip over my punches and use them upside down, so here I am doing that. I'm just going to get the last little edge, and there we have a piece of the chocolate chip that's been scalloped. And I'm just going to set it against this. I'm not going to tape anything down yet because what I want to do is take my bow that I've already pre-tied out of the, this is the rose red double-stitched grosgrain. I'm placing it in such a way, I don't want that orange line to show. I don't know if you can see that in the video. There's a little orange thread that goes through this particular piece of designer series paper. I don't want that to show because it doesn't quite go with my color scheme. And then I'm also kind of scooching this bow around a little bit because I want to be very cheap with my designer series paper, not use more than I have to, but I want to, maybe get that piece of So Saffron, that little So Saffron stripe to show. Okay, I like that. So I'm actually going to tack down my bow right here so that I don't lose the placement here. Okay, now I'm doing this kind of backwards and crazy, but just bear with me. I'm going to take my scalloped piece of chocolate chip, and I'm just going to use that same transparent tape that I was using before. And I'm just going to tack it together real quickly in a straight line. And you'll see why this makes a difference in here in a sec. There we go. And then while I'm at it, just to be safe, I'm going to put down a piece of double stick tape so that I can put my ribbon over it. And I'm going to move my head so I don't block the light, but I'm also going to make sure that I like the way that's lined up, and I do. And I'm going to carefully pick this whole thing up off my work surface. Okay, so here's what it looks like in the back. I'm going to take a piece of double stick tape and place it just along here so that I can fold over my ribbon. There we go. Because I'm going to set this down to show you the sample. You know me, I don't like the behind the scenes stuff to show, so I've just wrapped the ribbon around the back of the designer series paper and the chocolate chip so that when you open the card you don't have any of the behind the scenes stuff showing. You know me, that's just one of my little things. This little chocolate chip bit is just a wee bit too long, so I'm going to shorten it. There we are. And add a little bit of double stick tape to the back here. And then on my card front, I'm just going to line it up with that left edge and press down. And I'm going to fiddle with my bow a little bit so it's nice and neat and kind of close together, but I can do that in a second. Let's go ahead and adhere our sentiment that we worked on. I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to put that So Saffron piece on the scalloped oval. So there's one on one end and another dimensional on another end, and I'm just going to put my fingernail into each of those little bits of waxy paper to get them to come off, and then they do tend to just peel off so much easier, so you're not picking at them like crazy. And then I'm just going to layer the So Saffron on the chocolate chip and put a bit of tape on the back and tape it to the very front, just like that. And then my little last bit of business is I'm going to put a bit of tape on the back of the loop of the bow here so that it stays where I want it. And I'm going to do the same thing on this little tail here as far up to the top as I can, because I like to get the tails, I like them to be kind of meeting right here. So I'm going to kind of scooch it together. Well, that didn't turn out the way I wanted it. There we go. And then this little guy needs to be trimmed. So that's the last order of business. Let me do that with my scissors here. And we're set. Let me turn it around so you can see what I'm talking about. And there we go. So, like I said, we've got some colors to bid adieu to in the next couple months. And so a lot of the projects you'll be seeing on the blog are going to be focused on that. And then we're also going to be focusing on the new colors. I received some of the new colors in the mail, and they are just gorgeous. Stampin' Up! Has asked that I don't just show you the pieces of cardstock, that I actually make you something with them first, so that'll be what I do. But we're going to enjoy the last couple weeks that we have with this Sweet Pea Designer Series paper, and I'm also going to spend some time with the Sending Love Specialty Designer Series paper, which is also in the Occasions Mini Catalog. And both of those things are available through the end of April. So thanks so much for your visit today, and I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.